All right, we are off. Let me turn the light off. Actually, it's a bit bright. Oh, it's kind of spooky. Wow. All right, let's see who joins. Ah, Damien's joined. Well, welcome. This is my ongoing adventure. Do I need my headphones? This is my ongoing adventure in Substack. Like, yes, sorry, I'm going to turn this light's a little bit sinister. Hold on. That's a little bit better. Yeah, this is my ongoing adventure in Substack Live. Um, Scheduled it this time, so I have a feeling that it's going to be a little bit more lively than my last two attempts of going live, which featured me as the only person watching, which was quite a surreal experience. So I haven't got anything prepared because I wasn't quite sure who would be joining or what would be happening. So it's going to be a little bit on the fly, but fear not, I have my Coke Zero, not an official sponsor. It's midnight in Berlin, actually. I shouldn't be drinking Coca Cola, otherwise, I won't sleep. So, well, maybe I should start. So, my name's John. I've been on Substack now for about since the start of the year, and I'm finding it a very interesting site. So, I have my big free social media experiments this year: LinkedIn, TikTok, and Substack. And I have to say, each one is completely different. And I feel that each one gives me a side of myself, like the professional side, the more deeper mythical side, if you will. And oh, I got a heart. How wonderful. And the more experimental. See if you can guess which is which. Yes. So LinkedIn's been really interesting from my professional side of things. Trying to grow on a professional platform whilst retaining a little bit of my personality has been quite an interesting challenge. It's actually been, in fact, LinkedIn's probably been the most challenging of all because it is directly connected to your career. And I've been working at a new job now for 2 months, and LinkedIn is heavily tied to what I do. So it's an interesting paradox between being very professional and showing the marketplace, potential clients, how I think, how I run campaigns, how I do marketing. But if it's too professional, then it almost becomes a little robotic. So you have to mix in a little humor. You have to be a bit of an individual. You have to show a bit of, how to say, je ne sais quoi, which then makes you more approachable and makes you more human when you're talking to clients. It's an interesting time that we're living in right now with automation and AI, and how business has never been tougher. Making cash has never been more difficult. And well, I mean that's a bit of a overstatement. I guess in the Great Depression it was probably a little bit trickier, but right now, at least in my lifetime, I'm an 80s kid, so I grew up in surrounded by excess. And then the 90s, I mean, the 90s was amazing. Anyway, I'm going off topic. So that's LinkedIn. TikTok is an app, it's like the Wild West. I don't know if anyone's spent any time over there. And I don't know if anyone's ever gone live on TikTok, but by golly, it is quite the experience. Um, it's really fun and it's really challenging. If you just go on it just for fun, just for the love of the game, it's an enjoyable experience. But if you try and challenge yourself to grow on that platform, you are faced with so many challenges. Like when I think of Substack, the beauty of Substack and why I'm really enjoying it this year is it allows for a lot more long form, a lot more discussion. you can really go deep into topics. But on TikTok, you've got about 20 seconds. Yes, you can go for a minute, but unless you're incredibly engaging, you're not going to get people watching for 1 minute. You've got 3 seconds to make an impact. So you have to be very creative with your hooks. You have to be very creative with how you stop the scroll, as the kids call it. And trying to tell a story, trying to stop a scroll, trying to condense thinking into 20 seconds is a really interesting challenge. At first, it put me off. I was like, oh, I haven't got, like, it's just too difficult. But I'm a Dark Souls player. You know, I play Japanese video. I've just been playing a Japanese video game now. They're some of the hardest video games in the world. And that's what I do to relax. So I love a challenge. So trying to master TikTok, or at least get a foot in the door of that platform, has been one of the most interesting challenges I've faced this year. And then that brings us nicely to Substack. It's so relaxing here. It's so, the community, my small community that I've started to build here, I don't know these people. There's seldom any profile pictures. Everyone has a nickname, no one uses their real name. Not like with LinkedIn, your name, where you work, whatever. TikTok, it's all video, mostly video, so you see the person's face in it. But Substack has this really mystical vibe to it, very mysterious. You don't know anything about the people you talk to, and I like that. I mean, I'm being quite open here, showing my face, saying my name's John. I have my links to all. You can find out about me in about 2 minutes. But some of these people, I have no idea who they are, and I think it's quite beautiful. And they're very supportive of what I do, and I'm very supportive of what they do. I mean, I find it so fascinating how this space is. I mean, there are comments now, and I see a lot of talk on Substack that people are complaining that it's not what it used to be. And it happens on every platform. There's always, new people find it. They change the dynamics of it, and the old guard, the original crew, always complain that it isn't as good as it was. But I'm actually fascinated by how creative people are on this platform, and how it allows you to write and just get ideas out there. And you have the notes, which are really fun. I mean, they're like to bring it back to a marketing analogy, since that's what I do for a living, they're very like top funnel, the notes, the awareness. They bring people in to your page, and then they're free to discover your articles. So it's an interesting little way of working, like you get your articles, you get your deeper thoughts, you get your bigger thinking, your 3,000-word essays. And then you have the very short, like X, Twitter. I still can't call it X after 4 years. Like short messages, like selfies, images. I like to do a lot of photography around where I live in Berlin. And these notes are like little, like how it reminds me of how Instagram used to be before it became all awash with perfection and AI, and where you could share like moments. Like, I always like to do things like instant. I never like to upload older things. I used to like to walk around, be inspired by something, whether it be a statue, a graveyard, flowers cascading down a wall with the sunlight hitting it at a particular angle. And I would take the picture and upload it instantly, because I used to like that like visual diary of a day in a life, And I feel like the notes and Substack allow me to do that a little bit more. There's no grid. I mean, I am on Instagram, but I don't think I haven't posted on the main feed for about 3 years. I normally just use it for stories, but even then I've kind of stopped on that. But I really like the feel like I said, there's no grid though. That's the only thing about Substack. I used to love like curating my grid on Instagram. I wrote a piece actually. I think it was last month. I went back through my Instagram because it's all archived, and I was going through it, and I was like, wow, you know, it was like slicing my brain open in 2018 and just being like, God, what was I into? I was a very different person then. I was struggling with quite a lot of mental things, as we all do. And I was going through it and just seeing it so dark. It was so dark and so nihilistic and like gothic. But then it was punctuated with moments of beauty, which I found fascinating. Where I would, there'd be like a moonlit street, and then like a smashed up grave, and then some like vulgar graffiti, and then I never used to like taking selfies of myself, like like traditional selfies. I used to always obscure my face. I mean, I'm no psychologist, but that's interesting, right? I didn't want to be seen on camera. I always obscured myself somehow. And it really tells a story. And each picture, because I did it instantly, I wasn't uploading old, because it was all instant. It's like, God, I remember that day. I remember the news that I got that particular day, and I remember how I was feeling. Crazy. Yeah, like a visual diary. And yeah, I wrote a piece about it. I was just fascinated about going back into it and just like exploring that world that I lived in back in 2018. I'm so glad I kept it. I was going to delete Instagram. I was going to delete it a couple of years ago, but I always kept it for some reason. I didn't like the association with Meta. You know, I mean, I still have Facebook, so I can't really, you know. And the only reason I have Facebook is so stupid. The only reason I have Facebook is it's connected to my Spotify account. The easy signing things. But looking back over that period, yeah. So Substack is the closest. But I think when you get older, you start to the visual angle doesn't cut it anymore. It needs to have like a more cerebral edge to it, and that's what I'm finding fascinating, and that's why I've been doing these articles about the Substack Girl Summer. And as I said in what the article I wrote recently, it's not necessarily connected to male or female or gender non-binary. Anyone can be a Substack girl. It's more like the aesthetic, like the beautiful visual and world that how to explain it. It's like you see snapshots, like movie stills, like landscapes, like really cool selfies. Not the Instagram like duck lips thing, but like really interesting ways that people are presenting themselves and the world. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like the particular world that they build using words and photos is so fascinating. It's so like modern day bohemia, like the creative edge that these people have. Like 50, 60 years ago, they'd be in smoky bars writing and drawing, but now because of the invention of the internet, we now can do it all digitally. But yeah, I find it all very fascinating. Well, where am I going now? Where am I going with? I mean, as I say, I hadn't had anything pre-planned. I think there's two people watching, three including myself, and I just wanted to see how, I guess, and again, being a marketer, being a strategist, I guess the smart thing to do would be to have an engaging title, not going live with John. Although on TikTok, I call my lives "It's Alive," which I don't know. I thought that was a clever play on words. But I should have more. Sorry, I thought I could hear my phone ringing. I should have some more structure to what I do here. I could read poetry. That'd be quite nice. I could read my own poetry, although I haven't written anything for a while. Maybe that would be quite nice. Maybe I have a lot of books. Sate, Young, Gods, Men, and Monsters. It's a Greek. Yeah, you know what? That would be really interesting. It's a book that my grandfather gave me about Greek myths. Maybe I should read that. Well, anyway, it's time for me to wander off to the land of Nod. It is 12:30 right now in Berlin. I'm a little bit upset about the football. Um, Very unfair what happened to England. Well, is it unfair? It's a game, but whatever. And I should get some rest because I have a busy day at work tomorrow in my brand new job, which I'm very much enjoying. So thank you for hanging out with me and listening to me wax lyrical about my free little social media sites. And I continue to look out for articles, pictures, and all the beautiful trinkets from the imagination that people are leaving on this site. And I, like a Substack magpie, can fly amongst. And I don't know where this analogy is going. Thank you and goodbye.